I saved the alien vampire queen's little girl. And as a reward, she asked me to be her husband. The jungle of Virelia IV wasn't kind to human travelers. I was on a solo recon mission, cutting through thorns and massive glowing fungi, swatting away insects that looked more like tiny mechanical drones and life forms. My pulse rifle hung over my back, but it wasn't enemies I feared out here. It was the planet itself. Everything wanted to eat you. Even the grass hissed if you stepped on it wrong. The distress signal had come through 6 hours ago. A short-range pulse with a strange encryption, not from any known human tech. Curiosity got the better of me. I should have called it in and waited for backup, but when I saw the coordinates, I realized it wasn't far. So I went alone. That's when I found her. She was no older than 6. Well, she looked like a 6-year-old human girl, except her skin shimmered a faint silvery violet, and her eyes were pitch black like polished stone. Her leg was caught in the crushed wreckage of what must have been an escape pod. The flames around her were dying out, but the heat was still intense. She didn't cry. She didn't even look scared, just angry. And then she saw me. "You're a human," she hissed. "That's right," I said, "and you need help." "I don't need." Her voice faltered as a metal beam cracked, nearly crushing her. I dove forward, my arms sliding beneath the wreckage, lifting just enough to free her leg. She bit down on her arm, hard enough to bleed, trying not to scream as I pulled her out. She was trembling, despite her pride. "My name's Elias," I said. "You." She hesitated, then answered, "Seraph." I didn't ask questions. I just scooped her up, bandaged her leg, and carried her through the jungle, scanning constantly for hostile fauna. The little girl was light, unnaturally light, as if her bones were hollow, and her skin was cold. "I'm not used to your kind being kind," she muttered, halfway to sleep in my arms. I smiled faintly. "I'm not used to your kind being kids." By the time I got back to the landing station, the place was crawling with black-cloaked figures. Tall, pale warriors with gleaming red eyes and blades that shimmered in and out of reality. I raised my hand slowly, still holding Seraph. One of them hissed in a language I didn't recognize. Seraph woke up. "Put me down," she whispered. "Now." I did, carefully. The warriors parted like water as a figure emerged from their center. She was tall, taller than me by a head, with long silver hair and armor that clung to her like shadows. Her eyes were the same as Seraph's, but her presence was overwhelming. She radiated power and hunger. "You're the human who saved my daughter," she said, her voice like ice over fire. I nodded. She was in trouble. I couldn't leave her. Seraph limped to her mother and was instantly enveloped in a protective embrace. But the queen didn't take her eyes off me. Her expression didn't soften, not even when Seraph said, "He didn't hurt me. He helped me." "I see," the queen said. "And you asked no reward?" I didn't do it for one. The warriors stirred, whispering among themselves. A few looked shocked. The queen raised a hand, silencing them. "Tell me your name." "Elias Monroe, Earthborn." She tilted her head. "Elias Monroe, you saved the future of the Sangreline Empire. My bloodline, my only daughter." "I didn't know that." I said honestly. "No, you didn't. That's why it matters." There was a long silence. Then she said something I did not expect. "Will you be my husband?" I blinked. "What?" "My people do not take lightly to debt. You saved my heir. My lineage owes you a bond deeper than mere words. In our custom, such an act is worthy of union. I offer you my hand, and with it, the protection and power of the Sangreline." Every single vampire warrior turned toward me, dead silent. I glanced at Seraph. She looked a little embarrassed, but not surprised. You're serious. Utterly, she said. I tried to find words. You don't even know me. I know you acted without thought of reward. That alone makes you more honorable than most of my kind. You did not flinch from fire. You carried my child. You didn't treat her like a monster. That is enough. It was madness. I was a human soldier, a recon scout. I had no diplomatic training, no royal bearing. And yet this woman, this alien queen, looked at me like I was the most valuable thing she had seen in centuries. What happens if I say no? Her eyes narrowed. Then you will be honored, given a place of high respect, and never asked again. But it will sadden me deeply. And if I say yes, you become the husband of Queen Virexia of the Sangraline. You will be given a place at my side, and Sereth will call you father. That last part hit hardest. I thought of Sereth, lying in my arms, cold and shivering but brave. She hadn't begged. She hadn't panicked. She had looked death in the eye and said nothing, and she had trusted me. I looked back at Virexia, the vampire queen. Cold, beautiful, terrible. And I said, yes. The wedding wasn't human. There was no church, no priest. Instead, we stood beneath the twin moons of Virelia IV, surrounded by ancient black trees that whispered in the wind. The ceremony was older than Earth's first pyramids. I drank from a silver chalice she handed me. It tasted like starlight and blood, and she drank from mine. Then she pressed her forehead to mine, eyes closed. You are mine, she whispered, and I am yours. That night, I was taken into the ancient halls of her fortress, stone older than recorded history, stained with the history of 1,000 battles. We didn't talk much, but I felt her watching me constantly, like she was trying to understand me. Over time, she stopped being so distant. She laughed sometimes, especially when Sereth teased her. She would touch my arm when passing. Her coldness faded, like ice melting into spring. A few months later, I sat with Sereth watching the stars. You still think we're monsters? She asked. No, I said, not monsters, just different. She looked up at me. You're different too, different from other humans. Maybe that's why it worked. Are you happy? I thought about it. I had traded my career, my world, my species civilization for something completely alien. But when Virexia joined us, placing her hand on my shoulder, and Sereth leaned against my side, I didn't feel like a stranger. I think I am, I said, and I meant it.